What's up, guys? It is Frankie here. Week 15 of the 2022 NFL season is upon us, and it is time to make some predictions. Let's get right to it. We start with the Thursday night game, the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. Last week I said that you can put anyone behind the Niners offensive line and they would throw 3 touchdowns, and I stand by that after what I just saw yesterday from Brock Purdy, who in his first start looked like Joe Montana, or close to it. 16 for 21, 185 yards, 2 touchdown passes. The second quarterback since 1950 to throw for 2 touchdowns and rush for 1 in the opening half of his first career start. Just a sensational performance. Took Tom Brady and Tampa Bay, tore him to shreds. Well, not Tom Brady because he wasn't playing against Tampa Bay. Brady was playing against Tampa Bay's defense, but still tore them up. The Niners looked completely dominant from minute 1. They had complete control of this game. And again, nothing against Brock Purdy, that was a great story, and I'm glad that in his first career start, he looked amazing. I just feel like this is just the best built team in the NFL, and you have a great offensive line, you have a great defense, great receivers, running game, everything. You have everything you want in this Niners team. So I just feel like whoever you get to have it behind you is going to look great. And that's what we saw here from Purdy, and he looked sensational. We'll see if San Francisco can keep it up. Seattle, that was a tough loss. I had Seattle as one of my locks yesterday, and boy, did they disappoint me there, letting Sam Darnold in Carolina run roughshod. They've played 4 straight games against teams that were under 500, and they've lost 3 of them. The Panthers now have the 27th ranked. The Panthers have the 27th ranked scoring offense in the NFL, and yet they ran 223 yards on Seattle. That's disappointing. And I know that they lost Kenneth Walker and DJ Dallas, but we needed more from Seattle's offense here. And Geno had one of his worst games of his career. One of the worst games of the season for Geno, so that's a bummer there. Divisional matchup here, good rivalry. I'm going to take the Niners. Part of me wanted to take Seattle because I'm like, if it's going to fall off of Purdy, maybe this will be the game. But I'm starting to lose faith a little bit here in Seattle. I'm starting to lose faith in Geno. And I just think that San Francisco, with all of the talent around them, should be able to win this game convincingly against the Seahawks. So give me the Niners -3.5. The Indianapolis Colts and the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are 4-point favorites. The Colts are coming off a bye. Their season is pretty much over anyway. But then you look at Minnesota. Another difficult week for them. They lose to a red-hot Detroit Lions team, which when was the last time we said that? Red-hot Detroit Lions. But, yeah, had another chance to clinch the NFC North. Couldn't pull it off. They're still going to clinch, it looks like. But, they had injuries. Harrison Smith was out. Dara Shaw, Bradbury, they were all injured. But the one thing I will say, that was an amazing game from Kirk Cousins, which is weird because they lost, but he looked terrific from minute 1. 31 for 41, 426 yards, 2 touchdowns. I've been very impressed with Kirk Cousins all season long in terms of throwing the ball. Obviously, it helps when you have Justin Jefferson there, but Minnesota just looks like an elite team here. Maybe not a tier 1 team, but they definitely look great. Even with yesterday's loss, I'm still sold on them, still believing in them here, and I will take them in this game over Indianapolis. The Colts have been. I know the Colts are coming off a bye, but it's been a weak season here for Indianapolis, and I say that Minnesota, in this game at home, is going to be able to clinch the NFC North to this week with a victory here. Give me the Vikings -4. The Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are 2.5-point favorite. Baltimore won yesterday with their third-string quarterback playing the entire fourth quarter. Huntley went down with a concussion. They put Anthony Brown into his first NFL game, and he didn't really have to do much, which is fine because Pittsburgh couldn't do anything. And that's Baltimore now has like a 74% chance to win the AFC North. So important win there against the Steelers. We don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be. Lamar with his knee injury, he's not expected to come back at least until maybe Christmas Eve against the Falcons. We'll see about Huntley. I'm going to assume that Huntley goes. But that was a tough hit. That was a real hard hit, and he's in concussion protocol right now. We hope he gets back. But I still say Baltimore is going to win because I think they're the more talented team in this regard, and I don't trust Deshaun Watson right now. 2 weeks, and they only have 1 touchdown with Watson. It's $230 million. I hope it was worth it, Cleveland. The defense tried yesterday, like Myles Garrett and company tried everything, but too many mistakes. Cincinnati scoring all those touchdowns, winning that game by 13 points. So I just think Baltimore, I'm going to assume that Huntley plays, and I think he'll do just enough in this game to win over Cleveland. Though this will not be a pretty game. I feel like this will not be one of the games of the year. This will not be Bills-Vikings when it's Huntley and Deshaun Watson. Or if it's Brown and Deshaun Watson. Either way, I'm taking the Ravens. Give me Baltimore +2.5. The Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are 7.5-point favorites. Tough stretch here for Miami, as the last few weeks have really started to make you concerned about where this team is going right now. Losing to San Francisco last week, okay, fine. They lost to the best defense in the league. But then, just real issues here against the Chargers last night. Their offense is shaky right now. Last two games, they just don't have, their offense has been struggling. And I know that they have some injuries, and regardless, but it's not. If this is the time for the Dolphins to step up, they have not delivered against two playoff caliber teams. They have not delivered. They have not shown up. So, as for Buffalo, maybe could have taken care of the Jets a little bit easy. But, they struggle on offense at the beginning. 5 straight punts to start a game. That's the first time that's happened since 2018 for the Bills. But thankfully, eventually they got things going. Although they didn't on the running side, they had their fewest net yards in a game, 232 all season. It was their fewest net yards in a game. But thankfully for them, the Bills defense came through they pummeled Mike White all game. They pressured him on 50% of dropbacks. They limited the Jets to fewer than 300 yards. So, it was not an offensive explosive performance from Buffalo, more the defensive side, which is the good thing about Buffalo. If one side doesn't step up, the other side can. That's what happens when you have two top-tier units on your team. I say in this case, Miami looks like they're falling to the finish line, stumbling to the finish line. Buffalo looks like, I think Buffalo picks it up here in this game. They show their offensive prowess, and they win this one pretty convincingly over the Dolphins. Give me the Bills, -7.5. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Chicago Bears. The Eagles are 9-point favorites. Jalen Hurts, MVP. We've been talking about it for the last few weeks. Maybe it was a discussion, but now, especially with this Eagles team being, 12-1, and with the incredible performance that Hurts had yesterday, I think he is, and in Vegas they say he is, he's the favorite. He is the favorite right now to be MVP, which is crazy because I thought this was Mahomes' MVP to lose, but Hurts has stepped up here in the last few weeks. 2 30-plus yard touchdowns. He added a 10-yard touchdown run. He's been an incredible player for the Eagles this year. Their offense, one of the best in the league, maybe the best in the league. 27 rushing touchdowns. That's a new record for them. A.J. Brown with 1,000 receiving yards. 4th Eagle to have 1,000 receiving yards and 10 receiving touchdowns. Hurt and Miles Sanders both have at least 10 rushing touchdowns. First time in Eagles history that multiple players have reached that benchmark. It's just an incredibly explosive offense right now for Philadelphia. They look amazing. And they're going up against a really sorry Bears team that is already out of it. This should be a runaway for Philadelphia. They should dominate here in this game. And I also want to point out, they are clearly, we've talked about this, they're clearly the best team in the NFC. I'm not sold on San Francisco. The only two teams that you could think about having in that conversation are Dallas, who had their own issues yesterday, and San Francisco, and they have a third-string quarterback. Right now, if everything goes to plan, the Eagles should run away with the NFC. They should be NFC champions. Will that happen? We don't know. We still have a while to see. But they are the best team on paper right now in the NFC. They might be the best team on paper in the entire NFL. And I think in this game, in this spot, they will reaffirm that. Give me the Eagles, -9. Falcons and Saints. The Saints are 4-point favorites. Both teams are coming off a bye. Give me the Saints, whatever. Lions and Jets. It's a pick'em. Detroit is the hottest team in the NFL, which is crazy to think about. Their offense has been sensational. The Jets, they're finally falling apart here. Mike White took an absolute beating yesterday. Poor guy. Hope he's okay. I think the Lions win this game. I've been saying for a while that I think the New York football season is going to end. I think yesterday was the beginning of the end of it, and I think this Sunday will be the culmination. I think the Lions win this one and officially put the Jets. Although the Jets are still the 7th seed in the AFC, so wild things have happened. I don't think they have the talent right now to make it through the rest of the way. I think they're going to go. I think both teams, the Jets and Giants, are going to go 1-3 the rest of the way and miss the playoffs. I hate to say it, but I think that's the case. Give me the Lions here and pick them. Steelers and Panthers. The Panthers are 2.5-point favorites. Impressive victory for Carolina yesterday, so I'll give them that, and I'll pick them in this game. The Dallas Cowboys and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Cowboys, 5-point favorites. There was no reason that yesterday should have been as close as it was. There is no... Every time... The thing with the Cowboys is you want to trust them. You want to believe in them. You want to have faith in this team that they're going to be able to be a Super Bowl contender. And then they put on a performance like yesterday, and you're like, oh, there's the same old Cowboys. There they are. It took until the last drive. It took until Dak going 98 yards down the field, ending with the Zeke 2-yard rushing touchdown to end it. It took that to finally beat Houston. They're still keeping pace with the Eagles. They're 10-3. Philly's 12-1. I still think Philly's going to win that division. They've won double-digit games in consecutive seasons for the first time since 95-96. So we do got to give credit to the Cowboys this year on what has been a fantastic year. But yesterday made you stop and think, could this team legitimately compete with the Eagles? I would have to say no, looking at yesterday's performance. Could just be one bad game, but that's the kind of game that makes you scared of the Cowboys. That's the kind of game that makes you fearful that you think maybe Dallas is not the team that we want them to be. As for Jacksonville, that was a pretty convincing victory yesterday over Tennessee. Trevor Lawrence had probably the best game of anybody. He threw it 40 times, 368 yards, 300 passing yards, multiple passing yards, and a rushing touchdown in a single game. First quarterback in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars to do that. Back-to-back impressive wins from Lawrence, whether it was the 9-point comeback against Baltimore and then yesterday against Tennessee. The defense looked like it stepped up, shutting down Derrick Henry. Henry still had more than 100 yards, but they're still able to. They got 4 sacks on Jacksonville. They got 4 sacks on Tennessee in that game. But Dallas, this could be the game. A part of me was thinking about taking Jacksonville in this game because a part of me sitting there going, if Dallas is going to continue their little stumble here, this would be the kind of game that would beat Jacksonville. And if I had guts, I'd pick Jacksonville. But I'm not going to do it here in the spot. I'm going to say Dallas wins it. The combination of their offense and defense comes through, and Jacksonville. Lawrence will have a good game, but I think Dallas will be better, and I think Dak and Zeke will come through. Give me Cowboys -5. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Houston Texans. The Chiefs are 14-point favorites. Kansas City, I was really mad at them yesterday because I had Kansas City as one of my locks. I had the Chiefs -9.5 to win yesterday's game against Denver. And I was so certain about it, especially when they took a 27-0 lead in the second quarter. And I was so, oh gosh, there it is. I'm home free. And then, of course, Denver scores, 27 unanswered. They almost come back and win the game. 2 Mahomes interceptions. But Kansas City still won the game, so it didn't matter to them. But it mattered to me because, God, that seemed like an absolute lock. And that made me a little concerned. But they're still Kansas City. You worry about the pass rush. They didn't really. Actually, they got 6 sacks in this game. They got 6 sacks off Russ. It's going to be, assuming more difficult heading forward, but 6 sacks was a season high for Kansas City, so you want to see if they can keep that up. Houston, credit for fighting in there against Dallas, but they're still not a good team. Big spread. It's the second week in a row that we have a double-digit spread for Houston to overcome. But I say in this game, this time, Kansas City will be the ones that cover the spread. Give me the Chiefs, -14. Cardinals, Broncos at the Pick'em. We don't know what the Cardinals are going to do until tomorrow night. Russell Wilson, I think, saved a little bit with how he fought back, although then he got hurt, so whatever, Cardinals. Patriots, Raiders. It's a pick'em again. Patriots, we see them play tonight. Raiders lost by 1 to the Rams. The Raiders have lost to Jeff Saturday and Baker Mayfield in the same season. Get Josh McDaniels the hell out of there. Give me the Patriots. The Tennessee Titans and the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are 3-point favorites at home against Tennessee. A real difficult loss if you're Tennessee. They've lost 3 straight games for the first time since 2018. They turned the ball over 4 times. And those turnovers led to 20 points, courtesy of Jacksonville. Just a real difficult performance there, and yeah, they're starting to struggle. Evan Ingram had 11 catches for 162 yards yesterday. That's a show that for Tennessee that's not what you want. You don't want Evan Ingram, who I watched for a couple years, be just completely underwhelming for the Giants. Have 11 catches. You don't want that. So we'll see what Tennessee does here going forward, but they need to step up because they are free falling. Chargers could win there. We still don't know where they're going to be in the playoff picture, but that was a big win for them yesterday. They could have their first playoff berth since 2018. Big plays by Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. They just need all their guys to come back healthy. And we'll see about James. We'll see about Joseph Day, Pickens, Joey Bosa. They need all those guys to come back if they want to make a run here. So they're getting closer and closer to that, but I don't know if it'll be enough. But I think it will be enough in this game, though. Chargers are at home, and Tennessee's free falling. So give me the Chargers, -3. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bengals are 3.5-point favorites. Big win for the Bengals yesterday as they've lost 5 straight to the Browns, which is crazy to think about that. But they overcame it. A lot of injuries, bad start, didn't matter. Bengals cruised against Cleveland. And despite the injuries to T. Higgins, despite the injuries to Tyler Boyd, Bengals still got the win yesterday, so good job them. And then you got Tampa Bay. Wow. I was not expecting this at all. And amazingly, they're still leading the NFC South because somebody has to be winning this god-awful division. Brady, you should have never come out of retirement, brother. You should have stayed home with the wife and kids. And now you have no wife, no kids. And you're under 500 and you're losing to... You're losing 35-7 to a rookie quarterback who is Mr. Irrelevant in the NFL draft. Whew, it's not ideal. Not what you want. Brady picked off twice. Couldn't find the end zone until like 2 minutes ago in the third quarter. Bucs surrendered 5 touchdowns to Brock Purdy. It's bad. It's a bad situation there. I don't know why Todd Bowles was given another chance. Was Bruce Arians really that bad? Whatever. This should be a wrap for the Bengals if Tampa Bay keeps playing like this. I hope that the NFL steps in and says no NFC South team will be allowed to make the playoffs because they really don't deserve it. Give me the Bengals minus 3.5. The Giants and the Commanders. The Commanders are 4.5-point favorites. Yeah, yesterday we saw the Giants show their true colors. This is not a very talented football team. This is a team that is scooted by with great coaching, despite no offensive line, no receivers. And you want to blame Daniel Jones, fine, but how can anybody work with this situation? No offensive line. You get pounded every time you drop back. And no receivers at all. How are you supposed to overcome that? They allowed 253 yards rushing the Giants. They're 0-3 against the Cowboys and Eagles this year. Saquon looks like he's not healthy. It's a mess. It's starting to become a mess. I mean, it's been a great year for the Giants. No doubt about it. They've had an amazing year. So proud of this team and everything they've accomplished. But they're not talented, and we're seeing that here. We're seeing that here. We're seeing them finally fall apart. And as for Washington, they're coming off a bye. They tied against the Giants 2 weeks ago, or last week. Excuse me. So credit to them, not making any mistakes in that game. They did commit 7 penalties, but the Giants were also just had a bunch of dumb miscues in that game. I think in this game, Commanders finish it off. I think the Commanders are at home. Their defense will get going. I think Dan Jones is going to struggle again. Saquon, I don't know. I'm assuming he's going to be ineffective. If Saquon is Saquon, then the Giants should win this game, but I don't think it's going to be the case. I think Saquon is hurt, and we're going to have serious questions about whether or not we sign this guy next year. I would lean towards no, just because I don't think he could stay healthy, which is sad because I love Saquon. But in this case, the Commanders are 4.5-point favorites, and they should win this game comfortably. Give me I think, because the Giants, again, just have... I want the Giants to win, but the Commanders are just playing better football right now, and the Giants look like they're just... all their problems are finally showing up. Give me the Commanders minus 4.5. Rams, Packers. Packers are 7.5-point favorites. Green Bay's off a bye. I guess I'll take them. I don't think Baker's going to do that again. I'm happy with what Baker did. I'm really happy with what Baker did in that game on Thursday night. But I'm not convinced. I got to see more from him. So I'm going to take the Packers, even though this game, I will not be watching this game. I'll be watching basketball this night. Give me the Packers minus 7.5. That's it for now, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel and like to see, make sure you subscribe down below. I'll be back next week with more predictions. I will have some World Cup videos coming Sunday, so stay tuned for that. Maybe an NBA video next week. A lot of stuff that we're still going to be working on here for this channel. Stay tuned. Take care, and God bless.